Colin.
And I'm James.
And welcome to
another episode of Let's Talk Retro.
And today we're going to be looking at some modern games that have been made backwards compatible to old retro systems.
A bit later on, we're going to look at a game, an old game on the NES that influenced the whole series and genre of games on all the modern and new consoles.
So let's run VT and we'll catch you over there and talk about those games.
See you in a minute.
Master Chief, it's Cortana with a male voice. We found this bizarre cartridge for the Atari 2600, whatever that is.
Yes, this is Halo on the Atari 2600, and this was actually brought out at the Classic Gaming Expo in July 2010.
If I remember correctly, there were only 150 copies available for sale at the expo.
I think that might be right. It was written by Ed Fries, former Vice President of Game Publishing at Microsoft, and if anyone watched our last episode, The Quiz, you may have heard his name mentioned. The game was later released for worldwide purchase by Atari Age in 2013.
In Halo 2600, the player uses the Atari controller to take control of Master Chief as he makes his way through 64 different screens. They're split into 4 zones. There's an outdoor zone, Covenant base, Ice World, and a final boss area. There's weapons and power-ups are available. Several different enemies appear throughout the game. I've only seen a few of them though, and I certainly haven't found the boss area yet. But the legend goes that once you finish the game, first of all, you get brought back to the title screen, but it has a red sky, and you get to play through the game again. But the difficulty is set to be set at legendary hardness, where the Master Chief character doesn't move so quick and fires a lot slower.
So as you can probably all see, I think they've done quite a good job of porting this modern classic onto an old console in the Atari 2600. I think the way they managed to get the music that you can actually recognise the theme tune is really good. And the way, even, Master Chief, apparently they found it quite hard to draw him, but you can obviously recognise him as Master Chief. And so yeah, I think all in all they've done a really good job of porting this onto the Atari 2600. Anyway, we'll just leave you to watch a few more seconds of gameplay before moving on.
Well, I found that quite fun, quite difficult as well. Certainly not Halo as we know it, but still a great game.
Yeah, definitely not Halo as we know it. So yes, as you can all see, this is Flappy Bird. I'm sure you'll recognise it. It was a big craze a little while ago. But this is actually running on the Commodore 64.
This game was developed by the independent developer Swarovski. Originally, he made various other games and was an original Commodore 64 programmer. He went on to create newer games in Flash and things like that, and then going back to this, I think was probably quite easy.
And what I think is actually cool about this is it's available to download for free from the developer's website, and you can either play it in your favourite emulator, or as we are, we're actually playing it on the original hardware, playing it on the Commodore 64 itself. Has anyone seen any of my other videos, you'll know that I love the Commodore 64, and I've got many games that I play on it quite regularly.
If I'm honest, I wasn't a big fan of this Flappy Bird craze when it was popular not so long ago. I just find it too frustrating and too difficult, but I know there's people out there that are experts at it, but unfortunately not me.
I actually got addicted to this for a little while, although I didn't get that far on it, but found it much easier to play on the touchscreen than I do on the Commodore 64 for some reason. For me, it just seems to work better on the touchscreen platform, but it's still a very good port and enjoyable game on the 64 if you like that game. And finally, we're going to flip this episode right on its head, and we're going to do things the opposite way around and show you a game that started on the retro consoles, but is thought to have influenced more recent versions of the game. So as many of you will have noticed, and as many of you may know, this is Metal Gear on the NES. It started life on the MSX2 computer in Japan and parts of Europe.
So this NES classic later got made into the franchise that we know now as Metal Gear Solid.
Yes, this is said to have heavily influenced those games.
For those of you who aren't familiar with the plot of this game, it involves a Special Forces operative. His code name is Solid Snake, and he goes on a solo infiltration mission into the fortified state of Outer Haven. He's going to try and find and destroy Metal Gear. It's a humongous walking tank that's supposedly capable of launching nuclear missiles from anywhere in the world.
The original MSX2 game was released as a bonus game in the Metal Gear Solid 3 Substance for the PlayStation 2, and as a result it was also included in Metal Gear Solid HD Collection and Metal Gear Solid The Legendary Collection. So if you've been watching the action on screen, you can tell we're not really that good at this game, but it is interesting to see some of the influences that were taken onto the later games, like the dogs, the guard dogs, and the way the guards fall asleep with the Z's coming out of their mouths.
There's not that many Nintendo games you can run around and punch dogs, but here's a little tip for you. If you go in this van, you will find some binoculars, but in this bit we've already picked them up. And the guy has appeared again, ready to beat you down.
Yeah, it is annoyingly hard, if you ask me. And the music does seem to start to get a bit repetitive on this, especially if you keep dying like what we're doing. I don't know why, but when you go back and play these games, they just seem to be so much harder than they used to be. Maybe they were harder back there, but we just didn't know any difference. We just kept on, playing and playing until we got things right. Yeah, there's no doubt about it, but the music definitely is very repetitive on this. Anyway, I think, that's game over, folks.
Thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at some of those beauties we just looked at.
Yeah, it's quite interesting how they managed to go back and make some of the modern games playable on the old systems. But until next time, you know what you got to do.
Yeah, keep it retro.
We'll see you soon. So thanks once again for joining us today. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. That would really help us out. You can also catch us these days at our website, which is at letstalkretro.com. You can also follow us on the old Twitter, and that's by doing @letstalkretro. And finally, you can like us at Facebook. Go on, we love to be liked. And that's facebook.com/letstalkretro. And finally, as though we haven't asked you to do enough already, here's a couple of videos we'd like you to watch. We're sure you'll enjoy those. We made them all ourselves. So that's it now. I'm not going to ask you to do anything else. So until next time, guys, remember,
keep it retro.